The only thing that breaks our necks is progress when it speeds. February 20th, 2023. One of the qualities of technology that needs to be held in tension by the church is that it progresses. That progress is a feature and not a bug. Everything from internet servers to bricks progresses at a scale, and humans are the only moral part of that equation. Back in the shadow of Babel's Tower, bricks which could have been used to build houses for families were being used to build a path to heaven, one that didn't involve a Messiah that needed to be born someplace other than a tower. This might have been the first time Scripture records our technological pride in action, and most people will skip over the fact that God didn't confuse the language of man when they made bricks. He did it because of why they used them and what they used them for. There isn't a philosophical difference between what a brick does for humanity and what a computer does for humanity. There are technical differences that even most Luddites of us can parse, but the reason you make bricks and the reason you make laptops is the same: progress. Stones are harder than bricks, but are generally in perfect numbers and shapes when we want to build houses. So when the technology of bricks is discovered and invented, the need for rocks to build houses takes a back seat. It's still an option, but not the one we like to use. Once you have bricks to build a house, and the time and work of gathering rocks gets absorbed into making bricks, and the house gets built, and you end up with more time on the back end of the effort. That's progress. And the progress is attached to every bit of tech our little hands can carry. The pen let us write about swords, the typewriter made writing uniform and neat, and the computer did it in a long-lasting way. The laptop lets us do it from anywhere we had laps. Technology progresses. I could write a dictionary of how this lens captures everything from yoga pants to chatbots, but here we are to talk about the church. Think of the megachurch, a dark room with more tech between the congregation and the pastor than the height between the ground and a tower to heaven. And yet Jesus is worshipped there all the same, in spirit of truth and numbers more than two, that he was when the early church met in houses. With a lot less Bible, I might add, but the megachurch, even smaller medium-sized versions of that peculiarity, are trapped by the progress that empowers them. And the church service isn't the only place that this shows up. Anyone can see how tech has taken the reins of the church service and galloped it until the horse was too dead to run a click track to. How many songs could you do effectively with the house lights up and the smoke machine off? Was that a low blow to the worship team buddies? But the tech is in the sermon too, progressing the pastorate towards the same kind of beatdown that the horse got. Can your pastor write a sermon without logos, Google, Docent, and now our newest preaching team member, ChatGPT? We didn't notice that one sneak up on like we did the smoke machines because unlike aesthetic technologies, convenient ones are a bit more slithery. It's technological convenience that gets the pastor from studying the Bible and drafting his teaching from that studying to using tech to help him prepare sermons that he didn't study the text for. From preaching on a passage of Scripture to preaching with passages of Scripture. The marginal difference is where companies like Docent make their bacon, and it's a kind of pragmatic and technological eisegesis. The kind of our math teachers warned us about, and it is a we because I did it too, called them liars saying we wouldn't have a calculator everywhere we went. But they had the foresight and a prophetic gift to add want to the chastisement. We may have remained coloring in the lines. As more and more tech apps and progress enter our lives under the guise of help, we really need to start looking for the snakes in these trees, because there isn't a neutrality in play here. There is the handiwork of sinners who think their sin won't affect their brickmaking, and the bricks that can't cause stumbling in our faith so long as we don't waste their use and just build something with them. And that's the desire, isn't it? The will not to waste this opportunity and resource, because surely it will not be the death of us. I've heard this line before, read it in a book once. You should too. But God said, you shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, and neither shall you touch it, lest you die. But the serpent said to the woman, you will surely not die. For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Genesis 3:3-5, English Standard Version.